A peaceful classroom is an environment that is not too energetic and not too relaxed. There's a balance that has to be found in order to have a space in which children and the teacher, or anyone who comes into that classroom, can be at ease, can think clearly, can create in a beautiful way. So and it's safe and secure. So we need all those components to balance it all out, create that space that's nurturing and supportive, and allows those people within that little environment to be able to flourish in a beautiful way. Somewhere along the line, I started teaching summer classes at the University of Connecticut Confertute, which is a conference institute fraternity. And then I also created a class called Creating a Healthy Classroom Community. And that was a class I hadn't done before, but I realized in my own teaching experience that you need to have ways to help kids and yourself be at ease so you can do your best work. That's what our jobs are. Somewhere, that would be in July, somewhere before that time, I received a letter from Zephyr Press, was interested in knowing if I wanted to make that workshop into a book. And it was like, that was the last thing I ever would have thought of, because I hadn't even done that workshop yet, and I needed to try some things out. So I sat on that letter for a couple of days thinking, how do I respond to this? But I decided it was worth, a phone call. So I called the acquisitions editor at Zephyr Press, and it turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful surprise and a wonderful, wonderful gift. The new edition is really much fuller and richer than the first, and I've been able to expand probably every chapter. For example, the first section deals with the classroom environment and talks a great deal about feng shui and how we can use those concepts and principles in the classroom. So I've added some wonderful charts and a tool to help the teacher figure out how to make adjustments within the space. And then the rest of the book, there's other exercises and practices that weren't included in the first book. And also we've added a parent connection section and a special education connection section, because I really see education as a partnership. And everyone in the greater school-wide community, which includes the parents, which includes special ed, which includes, the custodial staff, everybody involved, should have some knowledge and have ways that they can help the students. And so the parents obviously are the first teachers, and if you can have that support between home and school, I think that's good. And then taking some of the ideas and finding a different way that a special education teacher might use them, I think is helpful. So I'm really pleased with those additions, as well as some other exercises and techniques. I'm very fortunate to have had a wonderful illustrator work on this project with me. She has done wonderful, soft, pencil drawings that really give that sense of peacefulness that we're looking for, both within the classroom and within the teacher and the student. I mean, I couldn't have imagined anything better than that. The techniques that are in creating the peaceful classroom are techniques that anyone can do. I would say that with the directions that I've given, they're very clear, very step-by-step, that you can follow them easily. As far as the yoga piece goes, these are modified postures, so you don't have to change into yoga clothes. You can be in your regular teaching garb, whatever you wore that day. You don't have to get down onto the floor unless you choose to. And then the other techniques, really, I think you can very easily follow them. There's some qigong, there's some acupressure, those kinds of things. There's movement activities. They're very clear, I think, clearly written, so that you can follow them. Just, read it through a few times. Try it with your children. Kids are very forgiving. So if you don't get it exactly as it says, so be it, And I think the other important thing is, teachers do this all the time, is they find a new way. They find a new way to do something, or another use for it, another way to work with it. I enjoy doing workshops with teachers, with parents, and sometimes in the classroom. And it depends on the length of a workshop. I've often done professional development for UNH in Manchester, and that's a 6-hour workshop. It's a full-day workshop. And in a workshop like that, we cover all 3 sections of the book. all of the workshops that I do, no matter how long they are experiential. So I don't just sit and talk. It's a lot about doing, a lot about playing and exploring. And each participant is encouraged to think about the techniques that work for them. We explore a lot of techniques. Not everything is going to appeal to each person in the same way. We're all different. I feel that once the teacher has connected to the techniques that he or she feel most comfortable with, just that they've bought into them and they've experienced them and know they can help will help their students. Most recently, I had a very wonderful experience with a workshop I'd like to tell you about. Back in December, I think it was actually December 17th, I received a phone call from my publisher's office telling me that Hobblebush Books had received a request from an occupational therapist in the Newtown, Connecticut school district where the Sandy Hook shootings happened to see if we could send some books down to them. She felt the teachers would find it useful. She had been using her original version for maybe 10 years, almost 10 years. Hobblebush Books was very gracious and sent a number of books as a donation. And then shortly after that, got a call back saying Newtown, Connecticut had an anonymous donor who wanted to buy 160 more books. So 175 books went to Newtown, Connecticut. When I heard that, I didn't even know what to say. It was, we were all so struck by the horror of that incident. And this was 3 days after the event. Never in my wildest dreams had I ever imagined that creating the peaceful classroom would be used in a situation such as that. And a month later, I received an invitation to go to Newtown, Connecticut and work with their teachers. Took us a while to get it together, but it was probably the proudest moment I've ever had. I knew in my heart that this workshop was about the teachers. So it was very playful. I got them moving. I had them laughing, which was good. I am, ever so grateful for the opportunity that happened through an occupational therapist who just happened to know about my book and now has the new version. If you'd like to know more about my book, there are several places you can get that information. One of them is at the Hobblebush Books website. That's www.hobblebush.com. Also, I have a page on Facebook, Creating the Peaceful Classroom, and my own personal website, www.peacefulpathways.com. You can find out more about my workshops and what they contain.